21 millimeter, remove the rear wheel. So I'm using a pole jack, you can use a floor jack, but you want to support the lower control arm and make sure the suspension's got the load off of it. And then we're going to take this rear shock bracket off of the knuckle housing. 17 millimeter socket. Take one down, and then the next. Top bolt is a 17 millimeter for both sides, and I can only get a wrench in there on both sides and got to lift up. And I've actually got it to move, so it's just going to be now patience and time. So after some time and patience, we've managed to get the nut almost off. I could not get a socket in there, so I was using a ratchet wrench and just a regular wrench. There's the nut. Now we gotta hope that the bolt, there's enough room for that bolt to go through all the way on the other side to get the shock off. Now with the weight off of the vehicle, I used a pole jack, you can use a floor jack. We can take that top bolt right out. I'm gonna try to compress this shock because it's pretty wasted. So now that the top bolt is out, I can grab this bracket and slide the shock right out. Before you install any shock, you always want to what we call start it in the industry, and that means basically compress it all the way to the bottom at least 3 times, and it gets the gases and the center rod starting to activate. Now on a workbench, I've already loosened up 17 millimeter wrench and socket. We're going to take that lower shock bolt and nut right out. I'm going to take the new shock. Let's see if we can get that centered. So I'm just going to hand tighten this because we can't tighten it or torque it until it's in the vehicle and both bolts are in and suspension weight is on it. Now I'm going to support the shock with my right hand. I'm going to try to line this up. Make sure you go on the correct side of the lower control arm. There's a torsion bar there. Line that up, then we can put that bolt in. Let's put our nut on. Such a tight place to work. So I actually have to push that nut out just a hair. Try to start that nut by hand. I don't want to cross thread it. So now I'm going to snug up the top nut and bolt with the weight of the shock off of it, because then that way we won't be fighting the actual bolt with pressure from the shock. Once again, this is a timely matter because of the tightness that way they manufacture this. So now I'm just going to put 2 wrenches on and I'm going to snug this up the best I can. The torque is 59 foot-pounds. Now with the bracket lined up, I have an extension with a 17 millimeter socket, and I'm going to start these bolts in. Get the second one installed. Make sure you still have the support under that lower control arm and the suspension jacked up so that the ride height is as if it was on the ground. The torque on these is 60 foot-pounds. With the suspension still being suspended at ground level, I'm going to torque this to 59 foot-pounds. Now we can take our pole jack or jack out of the way and remount the tire. Reinstall the wheel. Start all the lug nuts by hand. 21 millimeter, and we're going to torque the wheels to 76 foot-pounds and always do it in a star pattern. double check.